How do you prioritize items in the backlog? Oh, I'd be rich if I could answer that easily. Um, it is a really difficult question because it's highly contextual. So, as a Scrum Master, it's not my job. I'm not involved actively in the prioritization. I'm there to guide, I'm there to help people understand the tools, the techniques, and use them effectively. Yes, but I'm not going to prioritize anything. Okay? This is one way that we often see companies that used to having a project manager involved, and the PM becomes a Scrum Master, and they continue doing things like prioritization because they used to do it. It's not through ill will or bad intentions or anything like that. They did it before. Somebody needs to do it because it does need to happen, so they continue doing it. Great, understand where it's coming from. It's not our job. So we're going to look to the product owner to actually be prioritizing. We're going to be supporting them. We're going to be bringing in tools and techniques to help them understand the importance of it, but also, and likely more importantly, in truth, how to do it. So many product owners will take what is often a good enough route, but a really easy route. They'll go with gut feel. They'll just go, this is more important than that, so I'm going to call this a 200 and that a 500 and move on. And that might be okay. That does open you up to subjectivity, to conversations around why you chose that. But lots of organizations, it's good enough. The product owner has a good grip on what's going on, and the organization is safe enough that those conversations aren't going to be combative. They're not going to be aggressive. It's just going to be, oh, well, I thought, and it can be mediated out, and that will be fine. Many of the organizations I work with don't do that because it isn't safe to do that, because the decisions of the product owner are going to be second guessed. They are going to be challenged rigorously, okay, from a political perspective, not necessarily from what's right for the product or the organization, but what's right for that person. And for those product owners, I bring in some more rigor. I actually bring in a spreadsheet, which is no surprise to people who know me. Every product has a reason to exist. It has a product vision, it has product goals. And we need to measure those. We need to know how we are delivering towards that vision, how we are making the world better, the organization better, the situation better. Whatever it is that your product is doing, we need to be able to measure the change. So those are a great place to look for priority. So we'll work with the product owner and say, okay, of everything you could consider important, what are most important now? And you want maximum of around a handful of things. Okay? It might be customer satisfaction, it might be revenue generated, it might be the amount of data flowing into your system. It can be, as with one water charity I worked with, the number of people receiving fresh water per pound spent. Okay? Whatever it is, you know that better than I do because I'm not working with you and your product. Work with your product owner to understand that. Look at the goals, look at the vision, look at the organization, what matters. And what matters today can change from what mattered yesterday, and it will change, if you're doing a great job, against what matters in the future. That's the whole point of what we're doing, is we're progressing things. Okay? So for any item, we might have 3 different aspects of value in play. Let's go with customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and revenue generation. Okay? This is what our product is interested in. So any item needs to be considered against all 3 of those. And you can, if you've got a great actuarial department that has this information, or finance department that can bring it, whoever, awesome. Use that data, put those numbers in. Okay? If you don't, and most people don't have access to that, I use the Fibonacci series. Okay? And I'll multiply it by 100 or 1,000 because in my head, value comes with big numbers. I'll be honest, no science behind it. The math works just as well going 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 as it does 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. I just like bigger numbers. So that's exactly what we do, is we say, in terms of customer satisfaction, against everything else in the backlog, very similar to relative estimation, is this highly impactful on customer satisfaction or not? And we're going to compare it and we're going to estimate it in a very similar way, thinking about value. This is more valuable than that, less valuable than that. It falls around 5,000. Great, we'll call it, for customer satisfaction, 5,000. 3,000 for employee satisfaction, 13,000 for revenue generation. Okay. And what I'll then do is, through the magic of very, very basic mathematics, come up with a number at the other end. And I can't remember what numbers I just said, so bear with me. I think it was 5, 3 and 13, which, if my brain catches up, will say 21,000. You could do it as simple as that. Okay, that comes out with a total value of 21,000. Which one matters the most? But as I said, value changes over time. You know, the relative nature of it is, today it might be all about revenue generation. Tomorrow it might be about customer satisfaction. So I'll place multipliers on each of those to say whether they are more or less important in the grand scheme of things. So revenue generation is very important. I'm going to double any number I put in there just as a matter of course today. Tomorrow the goals may shift, and we may do. So we've got 5, 3 and now a 26, which I'll let you work out the maths, I'm not going to bother. You can see the number jumped up significantly. So things that are highly impactful in customer satisfaction slide down the list a bit. Okay? And this is interesting because algorithmically, almost, we are starting to answer the question, what's more important? Okay? What's very interesting here is we don't look at the end result. We're not trying to game the system, so I keep that number away from everybody. Instead, I'll get the product owner, stakeholders, whoever makes sense to be talking about each aspect of value, and they may be the same people, they may be different people, to have that conversation. On this scale, where are we? Compare it to everything else. Okay? For customer satisfaction, for employee satisfaction, for revenue generation, for each one. So that might be 3 meetings. I'd rather have a quick chat, but you know your organisation better than I do. And then there is just an outcome. It's a pre-approved algorithm that we put it through basic addition. I don't know. Go with what works. Okay? And use it and fine-tune it collectively so everybody understands what the maths is at the other end. They can't disagree then with the order of priorities, because that is simply a result of the outcomes of those conversations about the 3 different aspects of value. Okay? They can disagree with the numbers that were fed in. They can't disagree with the outcome unless they disagree with the formula that you agree together. What I found this do is it really starts to dampen down conversations of a more political nature about I want it because I'm important. Look at the spreadsheet. That's where it sits. If you disagree with that, you need to disagree. Is it actually more impactful in terms of customer satisfaction or revenue generation? No? Well, then it's there, and that's the outcome. What we have to remember though is priority is not the only thing. In fact, it's only one step towards what we're looking for. A product backlog is ordered for development. So once you have that priority, you need to sit down with your product owner. They need to sit down, the product owner needs to sit down with the developers in particular. You're going to be there to facilitate, make sure everybody's being good, right? But have a look at that list. Is it sensible? Is there a way of capturing any efficiencies in the development? You order it. So not only priorities coming in, priorities important, but then you're overlaying the knowledge of your product owner, the developers. You as a Scrum Master may have a say in this. Join the conversation if you do. You've got experience. Okay, stakeholders may have a say. This doesn't quite make sense. We're not talking about throwing that prioritization out of the window. What we're talking about is all of the things that can't be captured in a very simple approach, okay, being overlaid and considered. Use that prioritization tool to roughly get everything in the right order, and then go through and think, well, actually, to deliver item number 1, it makes sense to do 3, 5 and 9 together, okay, for whatever good reasons there are. So we'll move them into that order. Is it perfect priority? No, but it allows you to deliver the most important things quicker, and that's really what we're trying to do. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.